What's up, boys? Welcome back to the vlog. Let's start this vlog off with a cold start. A little wintry out here. Damn, that sounds so good now. Oh my God, listen to this, boys. That sounds nice. So my car is gray. It's a winter wonderland out here. It's been icy all week, snowing all week. It's been crappy out. And my car, because of it, has just the salt and the sand from the road. Decided to turn it gray. And the tips are all white glazed and gray, and yeah, it's pretty bad. The weather, right now it's 20 degrees. The weather is actually gonna start clearing up right around like Tuesday, Wednesday. So that's when I'm gonna wash this thing. But yeah, it's pretty dirty and I don't like looking at it. Today's video, we're gonna be talking kind of about all the mods I've done. We're gonna be kind of just doing a little drive. We're gonna throw this up on the windshield. We're gonna go for a little drive. I'm gonna talk about the mods I've done. We're gonna talk about potentially like what could be next for the next car on the channel, and what some of the options are. Obviously, if you hear any of these options, let me know kind of how you feel about which one, like which one you like better. I'm gonna be making like a poll on my YouTube channel. I'm gonna be posting it at some point soon, and I basically gonna have an option of like 4 or 5 cars, and I basically want you guys to tell me and vote which one you like the most, and we'll kind of go from there. We're gonna go on a timeline while I'm driving, and while I'm driving, you can hear this. So I bought it in December of 2021. I got rid of my V6 Passat that I had previously on the channel, which, by the way, if you guys haven't checked out the previous car that I had, you gotta check that car out. That car was awesome, super fun, super sick. A little tuner Passat for you boys. V6, you don't see them that often, especially on YouTube. But some of the mods that I kind of decided to go with were a little different than you might see other YouTubers or other people on YouTube have posted. So starting with the first ever mod I did with this thing, which was the exhaust. I did the MBRP catback exhaust, which, by the way, all the things I say, links will be in the description, I promise. But I went with the MBRP catback exhaust. It literally just had a mid muffler, no rear mufflers, and it was non-resonated. I saw a YouTube video on it. Don't know who it was. I can't shout you out. I'm sorry, but it sounded insane. It sounded absolutely perfect. I wanted it. It was better than everything I looked. The exhaust that I did look at previously, the ones I was looking at were X-Force. I was looking at CTS. I took a look at Borla, APR, and a couple others, I believe. But the best one, in my opinion, the one that sounded less muffled and a little bit more toned, was 100% this MBRP exhaust. And I'm obsessed with it, and it's been 2 years now. The next kind of mod that I went with was the paddle shifters. The paddle shifters I got on dsgpaddles.com, loved the paddles when I saw them. They had some really cool, they had a little bit thicker ones that I wanted, but they were like $300 and I didn't want to spend that. When I first started this project, I was on a tight budget and I couldn't really do much. So I went with those. They were like, I think they were like $90, $100. Perfect paddles. 2 years later, still love them. And then I would say that was non-performance, but it was technically a mod. Going along the list of the next mods that I did the front lip. That front lip was from Maxton Designs. I did end up finding a nicer one later, but I didn't feel like taking this one off, so I just get this one. This one was kind of middle of the pack, wasn't too cheap, but wasn't too expensive either. I really enjoy it. I think it looks clean. It starts to, the gloss black's starting to get a little chippy and a little, like, you know, it doesn't glimmer as much as it used to, but it still looks really nice. And I don't know, I think this car didn't really look good without a front lip. I think it needed it. This car needed a front lip. The way this car looked before it looked nice, but it just needed that extra, like, I guess aggressive look to it. Then I ended up going with the Aerofab spoiler. I kind of did, but I decided not to go with it. I really wanted like a nice wing, something that really like rose above what I already had, like an extension. But I kept looking around, and you know, with these cars there's so many parts, so in looking I found that Aerofab lip that literally sits under the spoiler that is already on the car, the factory spoiler, and like lifts it up. And it looked kind of subtle when I first bought it, and then when I put it on, it gave it that perfect look that this car needed. You know, I think this car needed that, just that extra little aggressive like feel in the rear end, and it just looked clean. And that was only just over $200. It was a really nice spoiler. It wasn't super expensive. The current exhaust tips that I have in my car, by the way, the MBRP exhaust does give you 4-inch tips. I ended up swapping those summer of 2023 with APR slashed ones. Just because I got sick of the regular circle ones, the cylinder ones, I wanted the cylinder slashed. I thought those looked a little bit better. So I just swapped it with 4-inch APR ones. I think those look cleaner. And that's what's nice about this exhaust is it's fully bolt-on, so you can pretty much switch anything you want, which is really nice. I went with the APR open carbon fiber intake. I absolutely love this intake. Love it. In my opinion, from all the videos I've seen, all the people that I know have GTIs, all the people that I've talked to, this is the best intake on the market. I do not recommend the closed APR intake for like $100 more. If you want to get the PEX, you can. The PEX is pretty much the same thing. It just doesn't have the carbon fiber. It's not fiberglass, it's plastic. This one right here is literally the best one. I got the turbo inlet tube with it as well. It's just perfect. The whole setup, the way it sounds, the swoosh sounds are more aggressive than any other one I've ever heard or seen. It's just outstanding. Then I went with the CTS Turbo Inlet. I liked that inlet because it meshed perfectly with the intake. I think 100% you can hear a little bit more of the turbo. Not much, as much as I thought it would have been, but it definitely is a good cheap little mod to get a little bit more of that swoosh sound, a little bit more of that turbo sound. 100% worth it. Then I went with the CTS throttle pipe. So this was to increase throttle response. It was to increase a little bit, it was to make it a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more throaty as you're pressing on it. And I must say, it does make a little bit of a difference, but for $200, I don't think it makes enough for you to do it. I can't really feel much of a difference. That's just me. If you really think you're gonna feel a difference, depending on your setup, then go for it. It's an inexpensive part. $200 isn't terrible for what it could be. Some of these parts aren't super expensive, so I mean, but $200 in my opinion for only a little bit, I don't really see the worth in it. But I didn't see many videos on it, so I did it, and it works. You know, installation was 10 out of 10 hard. That I can 100% tell you. Getting your hands up in your motor, and it was on a lift or not, it's not easy. I then eventually switched to the ECS tuning coils and the NGK9 spark plugs. So far, they've been great. My performance, my spark, everything feels a little bit cleaner, crisper, not as much lag, a little bit more spark to everything I'm doing. Like I said, nothing crazy, but it works. So after I did the throttle pipe, I eventually did the IE Stage 1 93 octane ECU tune. I did it on low torque to start out because I didn't do the transmission tune initially. I did it like a couple months later. I then went back to do the DSG tune. I did the TCU tune on this, and then I switched this ECU stage 1 to a high torque file, which just opened this thing up and made it a beast. This tune overall is, I would say, an 8 out of 10. I like it. I don't love it. It's not as aggressive. As you guys know, I originally went with the APR tune. Little did I know at the time that APR stage 2 for the GTIs were discontinued. So if I knew I was gonna go stage 2, I had to get rid of that. So I went back to the shop, got rid of stage 1, and then found myself putting on the IE tune. Unfortunately, that's what I had to deal with. Not something I wanted to do, but something I kind of had to do, unfortunately, in my situation. But I think the APR tune was a 10 out of 10. That tune was absolutely perfect. I was on a high torque file. It was just, the car was so aggressive, so quick. It sounded so mean. Sounds good now, just I don't feel the aggression. I felt it so much more with the APR tune than I did with the IE tune. But the IE tune, still great. Still enjoy it, love it. But that's what I'm currently doing. Now, what's next, right? There's a couple things left. We're not done yet. I mean, come on. We have a couple little things I'm going to be doing. I have to swap a couple things out before I get rid of this car. I want to kind of clean some things up, swap a couple things, add a couple cool little things, and you'll be seeing that coming soon. Various videos coming of little things. But the big things, what's left? Well, there's a couple things, boys. What is left is stage 2. So we're going to be moving on to stage 2 very, very shortly. Kind of tough with the winter right now. I don't have a lift to put this car on. I don't really feel like getting out of the car with all the ice and the snow and the salt on the ground. So we're going to wait probably a couple months. Not too long. I'm gonna try for March, early April to finish stage 2. Like I said, we have a couple little things in between to do, and then we have a couple of the big things. But stage 2, we're gonna be getting the downpipe. I don't know what downpipe I'm getting yet. I have not decided, but we are gonna do a downpipe. We are going to do a high flow cat downpipe though. We're not doing fully catted. We're gonna do a high flow cat. I can't find catless, I've tried. I will keep trying, but if I don't find anything, we're gonna do high flow cat. We're gonna do potentially a front mount intercooler. I'm not 100% sure on that yet. I might not do it, I don't know. But we're gonna be doing a blow up valve, and then we're gonna be doing the stage 2 crackle tune. Once we do that, boys, we're pretty much done with the car. There's a couple other things I could do. I could do like a dog bone mount. There's a couple of little things that I wanna do, but I don't wanna go too crazy if I am gonna be getting rid of this car in the near future. So if that's the plan, if that's what we're gonna do, then we're gonna do a couple more things. We're gonna at least do stage 2. We're gonna do a couple more miscellaneous things, and we're gonna get this thing going. But I don't wanna go AWOL and go crazy, because when I do get rid of this car, and this is really great, because when I get rid of this car, everything's coming off it, because I need more value in trade-in. So when I get rid of this car, everything's coming off it. Besides the inlet in the throttle pipe, or at least just the throttle pipe, I'm gonna leave in there. I don't really feel like going through that process again. When this car is gone, everything is pretty much up for sale. So if any of you boys, any of you guys, anybody watching this channel has a GTI, has a Golf R, has an S3, has a GLI, has an A3, then they want these parts will be up for sale later this year. I will obviously let the vlog know again later in the year when they are up for sale, but I'm gonna be posting them on Facebook Marketplace, so first come, first serve. They may not be available, they might be. I'm gonna be throwing them up, I'm gonna be selling those parts. Those parts are gonna potentially be used for new parts on the new car. I gotta get more value out of this thing as much as I can, because the next car I'm gonna be getting is definitely a little bit more wilder than this. Definitely a little bit better than this. The build's definitely gonna be a little bit crazier. It's gonna be a lot faster. It's gonna be a little bit more fun. This build has been absolutely amazing. I don't like that it's taken me a little over 2 years to do it, but it's been amazing. And the next build most likely will not take that long to do. Plus, we potentially have another surprise coming this year, but I don't want to get too excited about it because I don't exactly know how much of that we're going to be posting. That is all up to the other person who would be a part of that. So I'm going to let him know and see what he wants to do. But regardless, he's getting that vehicle, and I know the vehicle that he's getting. So I'm definitely going to showcase at least the vehicle on the channel, but I don't know what we're doing mod-wise. I don't know if he's fully building it. I don't know if he's doing anything to it. So I don't want to go too crazy with that in explanation and hyping you guys up if I don't know for a fact what's going on with that. But regardless of the matter, something is coming with that, and that's pretty cool. I'm excited for that. As I'm saying this, I actually forgot one mod that I did. I did the steering wheel cover. I elected not to buy a new steering wheel, which I probably will buy a new steering wheel next time. I went with it. It went as well as it could for not being a pro. So it went okay. It's not my best work, but I and everybody else who helped me, we did the best we could. And it feels better than having to deal with the crappy leather, greasy and wearing. But you guys are gonna see videos on all that. When I take all the parts off this car, you're gonna see uninstallations. And I'm basically just gonna have a little fun vlog. We're gonna uninstall the parts, kind of see what this car sounds like. You know, we'll go through the phases, right? So we'll take the exhaust off, but keep the tune on and see what it sounds like with the tune and the downpipe. Because the first thing I'm gonna be doing is taking off the exhaust. So we'll see what it sounds like with that. That'll be fun to see in the video. And basically gonna talk about and show how easy it is to uninstall these parts, just like we talked about how easy or hard it was to install these parts. I wanna talk a little bit about the options. I'm either looking at a B9 or a B9.5 Audi S4, preferably a 9.5. I'd like to go with a 2020 or above, but I'm okay with going with an 18 or 19. Thinking that'd be a really cool build. You guys really seem to love the last video, so I think that it might be a great build to do. A lot of things we can do to it, make a lot of power, take it on the track, all-wheel drive. I mean, that 6-cylinder is awesome. 6-cylinder turbos are my favorite, as you know. So I think that might be a perfect option. Another option is a BMW M2. Kind of an outlier because that's not my main option, but what do you think of a 17 or 18 BMW M2? Inline 6 turbo, a lot of things to do to it. Next is one of my personal favorites, the Audi RS3. 5-cylinder turbo, sounds like a Lamborghini Huracan, all-wheel drive, can put anti-lag in it, 750 horsepower on E85. I mean, can you complain? I don't think so. 400 horsepower factory. The thing's an absolute monster. I'm pretty sure we'd have a blast with that. Another option, and kind of an interesting option, that I'm actually very excited to announce, is a Mark 7.5 Golf R. I know the car is somewhat similar to this, but it's the IS38 Turbo. It's all-wheel drive, which means we can drift it in the snow and have a blast with it. It's a little bit faster off the line, especially when we put the mods in it. And honestly, I'm gonna do different mods to that thing than I did with this. That would be my opportunity to go crazier and just all out on that car. I could even try for a Mark 8. Don't think I'm gonna get one in the market range in the next 6 to 8 months, but I can try. So essentially the question is 7.5 to 8. And if you guys are okay with the 7.5, so am I. Let me know what you guys think of all that. Let me know what you guys think of the next build and what we can do with it. But yeah, boys, that's pretty much all the mods we've done, all we have to go. I've enjoyed this build. I hope you guys have too. I will say, with all these parts and everything that I have on it so far, the car is amazing. The car is aggressive. The car pulls great, feels great. It's just everything that I've done with these mods has been great. There's pretty much no other way to explain it besides the car is awesome. It's less laggy, still laggy, but less laggy. It feels super powerful. It gets the job done. I mean, I appreciate everything I've done to it. I appreciate what this car has become, because factory, I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of this car factory at all. But tuned, some parts in it, I'm a huge fan of this car. And it's just been an absolute blast having it. Little bit, woo! A little bit of wetness on the road, it's all you need. I mean, just listen to those downshifts. I love this car. I love it to death. And what I recommend for you boys out there is go get yourself a GTI and just build it. Have fun with it. It's a fun car to build. I'm ready to move up a little bit more into the big boy leagues and do some bigger builds on this channel. But this build so far has been an absolute blast, and I recommend this car to anybody. A couple things to watch out for is lag, front wheel drive, and maintenance. Maintenance isn't fun. But this car has been I'm at 70,000 miles. Car's been super reliable so far, knock on fake plastic, but it has been extremely reliable, and I've enjoyed every second of it. Can't go wrong, boys. You really can't go wrong with this car. Been a car I've been dreaming of since I was 15. And at 24 years old, I can gladly say I drive it. So the camera cut me off in the middle of that pole because I said my camera was too hot. I think it's because the heat is on it. Man, missed the pole, dude. The pops sound so good now. Not as much as I want, but good for now. So much spin. It sounds so good. I didn't even shift. God. My camera overheated again, so I turned the AC on, which is really tough in this weather because it's really freaking cold. Oh my God. Also, we're gonna get a boomstick for the GoPro, and we're gonna put the GoPro on the outside, and we're gonna shoot a little video of doing some pulls, and you can hear the car from the outside. Oh, it just tugs you so much. Woo! It sounds so good. See, you get some burbles. You get a little bit of burbles. You get a little bit of something. Oh my God. Woo! Damn! Holy cow! It's slipping so much, but when it's slipping, it's farting. It's so sick. The Passat used to do that too. Without further ado, boys, thank you so much for watching today's video. More fun content coming soon. I'm excited, and as always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't already, make sure to hit the bell so you get notifications whenever I post videos. For me and the GTI, we say, see you in the next one, boys.